Hi everybody. Alright, so remember I told you today we were going to finish up the landing gear so we can see it on wheels. Well, I lied. What happened was Behringer forgot to send me the proper bolts to attach the axles to the landing gear legs. So, in the week while I'm waiting for those, I thought, well, let's get some other stuff done. Uh, so today, so for the next two videos, we're going to be wiring up the headphone jacks, the microphones, and the USB chargers. And apparently I'm going to be leaving the power cord to the camera right in front of the lens. Okay, so first thing I have to fix is that while wiring everything up in my infinite wisdom, I accidentally crossed up the pilot and the co-pilot microphone and jack wiring. Yeah, how the heck did I do that? Thing is, they're wired properly, right? So when I go to start wiring the co-pilot jack, I pull the wire out and I look at this shield. I've got the little shrink wrap on there and it says, "Oh, pilot." I'm like, that's interesting. So I look at the back of the audio panel. Oh no, this is actually wired in as the pilot side jack and mic. Yes. Okay, so take them out and slide them down the proper side of the tunnel. Which, look, that took all of about 10, 15 minutes. The hard part is just is getting the snap bushings out and putting them back into the snap bushings. That's the only hard part. So look, anyone that's worried about wiring, and you see that big old huge rat's nest up in the front there, it's not that bad. Okay, so for the rest of the video, we're just going to be wiring up. The USB chargers are simply two wires, a red and a black, right, for power. And the charger that I bought just has knife connections, little tab connections, so all you need is a couple of female tabs for those. That's pretty simple. Of course, I buy the ones that have insulated outsides. Picture one of those here. And then the rest is just doing the mics, microphones, and headsets. So it's 3 wires each. These are stereo, of course. Here's a picture of the jacks. And it's pretty simple. You solder them on. Well, I'm sorry. First you strip a little bit of the wire. You make sure to put some shrink wrap on each of the tubes before you solder them on. Solder and then heat shrink the tubing on to secure that in place, just to make sure that there's no, shorts or grounds or anything weird. Okay, so we got a little Q&A while we're going. I had a user, a viewer, D Reddick 73 has asked about the several modifications that I put on the plane. And that's, and that's a good question. Let's talk about that real quick because I want to clarify, there's a big difference between modification and customization, right? So like that JD air latch, that really cool air latch that I've put onto the fuselage, right? Is that a modification or is that a customization? Really, in truth, that's both, right? I had to cut metal and put new pieces of angle aluminum in. That I consider a modification, right? The Behringer wheels and brakes, I would consider that a customization, right? Because you're not modifying anything. All I'm doing is dropping in different parts. Right, it's the same exact parts. If you'd just put those parts in the kit, no one would be able to tell the difference, except for the fact that you've got stainless lines versus, vinyl lines, and you have to cut those. That's not really a modification. Like beefing up the wing step doublers, which I did. That's a modification. The step lights, definitely a modification. Cam locks is it's both. It's a modification and it's an upgrade, at least in my eyes, because I don't want to deal with the piano hinge. Right, talking about the cam lock system for holding the cowling in place. That's definitely a customization. So like the ELT, that's a customization. I didn't really modify anything. All I did was move where it sits and cut some wires a little bit short. So that's not really a mod. But yeah, so the step doublers, those are mods. The step lights, those are definitely mods. The avionics racks, I would call that a customization. The EFI system, that's definitely an upgrade. That's both. Because I got to do a lot of work. You had to do a lot of work with the fuel system, and there had to be some fuselage modifications, small ones, just to so that you can access the fuel pumps. trying to think. Oh yeah, so like the USB chargers, I got dual USB chargers right there by the headphone sets. I'd call that a customization. I wouldn't call that a mod. Because the plane already came with USB charger. I just sort of moved them and doubled them up. So yeah, there is a big difference between customization and modification, and that's kind of important, right? Adding a turbine, that would be a definite modification. Okay, so we're finishing up with this side. In the next video, we're going to finish up the right side, and then we'll get back to the gear after that. So have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you for joining me. See you soon.